The steel that we make is various types of steel. We cut any type, really. There's CPMs, there's your normal 4140s, different things, and we'll do all different types. Cut them into what we call punches, dies, core rods, etc. That go in presses that press the parts out. They're powdered metal tooling. Our manufacturers that we work for will put powder into the die and press it into a part, which then gets used in something later down the road. What I do at my machine, I mill graphite material, which is like your pencil lead almost, but it goes on a machine that burns the form into the steel with electricity. So that's what I do on my daily basis. I get a lot of satisfaction from whenever I get a hard thing to do that a lot of guys don't understand, and I can sit there and figure it out and actually get it done, because there's some things that just even the customer that sends it to us didn't really understand what they were giving us. They just had the picture and their customer had the dimensions and everything, so they send it to us, and we have to sit down sometimes and just think about it for a long time and figure it all out and make the model of it, whereas it was a 2D drawing where I have to make the 3D part of it. So that's very satisfying that I can do that type of thing. And then I get to see the finished product that I have drawn on the computer actually come out into a part. So that's very satisfying also, knowing that, you know, you actually did something. You know, if I sit there all day and just draw it and then have them guys do it, I don't always get to see the final product. So by me being out there also, I can see what happened and know it worked. I would definitely look at the options of, you know, there's a lot of places that will pay for your schooling. If you go there and work for a couple years, even go to school and work part-time. That way you're still making money and you're still getting your education. That's a good way to go about it. Or if you feel you have the ability to just go to school only and then work later and pay back the loans later, that's another option. But you definitely want to look into your options of either going to school for that long period of time. Look into what the school has to offer. If you go there and they only have a couple little things that a machine shop has, and they say, well, yeah, we're going to teach you, but you got to learn more, you know, by going out in the field, you may not necessarily want to go there. Where I went to school, they had everything there that I was going to need to know when I went out in the field. So maybe there was a variance of the type of machine, but it was still, everything was there that I needed to learn. And the teachers seemed to know what they had to know. You know, they had been in machine shops working before, so they knew what they needed to know to teach us. So I know some people say you don't need schooling later on down the road, but I feel that in what I did and what I'm doing now, I definitely needed schooling for that. When I came for my interview, they actually gave me to the boss of the machining department and this department, and he said, well, here, go ahead and do this and let me see what you can do. And I was able to sit down and do everything he said without even thinking about it. So he was like, yeah, you're hired. You know, I mean, there was no question. I knew what I was doing. Grinding department, a lot of them guys actually didn't go to school. They came in and learned as they went through. They started out in the lathe department, our machining area, and learned the basics of reading a print, and etc. So I mean, there's that too. They can just come in. If they have the knowledge of being able to learn from people, then you can do that where, you know, you don't need a lot of schooling other than being able to do math, you know, stuff like that. So they were able to come in, learn a little bit of that, then move into a different department, like the grinding department, or even inspection. There, you can go through all the areas in the shop, knowing how to make the part, and then maybe move in there and actually check everybody else's work and check the part for final inspection to make sure it's correct. So there's many different career paths. There's even the engineer, who he's before me drawing some of the stuff that I use. Some of the just 2D drawings. He's got to check all the prints to make sure every dimension's on there that we need and all that stuff. So that's another career path too, being an engineer. If I feel the need that I want to move up and there's a need for my position, to be filled by somebody else. Maybe I could move up to maybe being a boss of this area. If my boss were to even quit, let's say, I could almost be in that position right now with what I do. I know a lot of everything that goes on, so I could almost become that person that's being the boss of at least the machining department, if not even higher up. So that would be the next step for me if I was to move up. Where I'm at, I work with all the different guys because I have to maybe go down to the lathe and work with him to make a program for that machine, or I have to come up here and help the guy that runs the mill program that machine, or if there's something wrong with my program or something wrong in the machine that went wrong and we don't know what, I have to work with him. Or the EDM department, he's having trouble understanding what needs to be made. Maybe it's the print's hard to understand and I understood it. I need to go work with him and do that. Or the grinding department, we work together on the same part sometimes, so I need to explain to them what I'm doing. They need to explain to me what they're doing. Of course, final inspection, I have to work with him sometimes because maybe a part came out a little bit off and I need to make an adjustment. The polishing, finishing department, they'll let me know if my finishes that I'm giving them are good enough. The sizes, whether they're coming out close enough to where they can finish it off right, or if I need to leave less stock or more stock. So I work with almost every department in the shop in my job position. And it's nice because you're not just stuck doing one little thing, you're getting a variety of things to do.